When I shared my reel yesterday, I had numerous people. There was Alyssa, Shefra, and Heather Mack all asked me if I could do a slower tutorial for the carry. So this is for you. This is a coolest hip cross carry. I'm using my Sunset Rainbow wrap, and it is 2 sizes smaller than my base size. So you can do this with a wrap that is 2 sizes smaller than your base size. And if you have any questions about what base size means, how to figure out what size you need, just let me know in the comments or shoot me a message. Okay, I've started with just a short tail coming over one shoulder. Now, my wraps all have the legally required safety warning, but it's not pretty. So when I'm starting with a short end over one shoulder, I like to just take the end with the safety tag, the ugly safety tag, and put it against my body. So I know that at the end, it's not going to end up in an awkward position where it's showing when what I want to show is my beautiful design of the wrap I love. Okay, short end over one shoulder, and then make sure you're not twisting as you come across your back and under your opposite arm. I like this rainbow for teaching, and also it makes it easier for you to do your own carry with if you have a rainbow or gradation, because you can tell that your top rail is still the top rail and it didn't get twisted. Okay, once it comes across my back and under my arm, I'm going to bring it under that tail and just go straight across and under my other arm. And then I'm going to go straight across my back under both arms. And I'm coming back under this arm. So this has made a full loop around my body. It's just gone under my arm, across my body. Let's see, from here, under my arm, across my body, under this arm, across my body, under this arm again. And now we're just going to tie a knot up here to the short tail we started with on the shoulder. That is how you set up this carry. So let's go ahead and tie the knot. I'm going to do a slip knot, and if you haven't learned a slip knot, I suggest that you do, because they make it really nice and adjustable for these tied at shoulder carries. It's a very useful thing to learn how to do. So let me know if you need any help with that. All right, I have now tied on my coolest hip cross carry. Now it just comes to putting baby in. So I'm going to bunch these up, because for this carry, my baby's legs, each one is going to go under one of these crosses. So these crosses will get bunched as they come up between her legs. So it's going to be bunched as it comes around my waist. Let's go ahead and pick up baby. All right. Since my baby's going to be on this hip, let me turn her head this way. You do not turn your baby's head because your baby is real. All right. So far leg going to come through that cross. Shift her over here. And this leg comes through this cross. And then I'm just going to get her seated on my hip comfortably. And I want to make sure that she is straddling me in a squat position where her legs are hanging down, comes up to her knees and then down to her bottom, up to that knee, and then leg hanging down. And she should be able to swing her legs freely from the knee. And now all I have to do is spread the crosses. She's sitting in the crosses. We're now going to take the inner one, the underneath one, because it'll be easier to spread that first, and slide it up around her body so that it's going from that knee all the way to that knee. It's right behind both knees. And then we can spread this one and up over her back, across her back. She could be arms in or out. Here she's got one arm out and one arm in, and now she's in the hip cross carry. So now we're not completely done, because we need to adjust it for comfort and to make it safe. First thing that's really noticeable to me is this is being pulled into my neck. That would end up being very uncomfortable, but we're going to fix that. First, however, let's go ahead, and you can see looking at this that this part is pretty snug, but there is looseness here in these bottom stripes, my blues and purples, and here at the bottom of the oranges. So I'm going to pull all the slack this way. I want to come away from the knot over my baby, and I'm going to have to work it all the way around the carry. So I'm working that slack across one leg and under the second leg. I'm going to reach around with my other hand and continue pulling it around. You can see there's lots of slack here, and I'm pulling it now under this leg. Now here's where it gets tricky. The slack needs to be pulled through that cross, this one here that's underneath the other one. So I can actually move that down if I need to, and I'm going to find the bottom blues and purples. Here's another case where it's helpful to have a rainbow wrap because I can tell what colors I need to pull on. And I'm going to pull all that slack up from my waist, from under this leg, over this leg. Now my baby's not secure because I've moved this cross down, so I'm keeping a hand on her. And then I can pull that blues and purples, all that slack, up to my shoulder here. All right. Now, I'm supporting her because well, first of all, it's not secure. Secondly, if her weight pulls on that, that slack can be pulled back. But if I support her, it won't be pulled back. I'm going to go ahead, spread that back over her, and then I can adjust my neck. So I want to pull that whole thing away from my neck, and then I want to get this slack in the blues and purples and pull it down through the knot. This is where the slip knot is handy. I can adjust right through it without having to untie it. So I'm just holding the knot in place with this hand, keeping it from sliding down while I pull the slack down. So I pulled on those purples, but look, I still have all the slack in the blues and greens and yellows and oranges. So I start at one rail or edge, which is my purple, and then I'm going to go a few inches inward. And again, this hand's going to hold the knot while I pull. And just watch on my shoulder as I go through this. A few inches farther down now. Watch my shoulder. I'm pulling that slack right through the slip knot. And I'm going to go all the way through this tail, pulling every few inches through my rainbow until it's all snug. I'm now on the other rail. I am going to give it a pull, but none of this do I want to pull too hard because we're trying to get it evenly tightened. Some of the strands are already tight, and I wouldn't want to pull them tighter or they will dig in. So this red is pretty tight, but I'm going to give it a tug just to make sure to get any slack out, but it's a gentle tug. And then I'm going to go back through my rainbow a second time just to make sure it's all even. Sometimes when you tighten one part of it, it reveals some slack or looseness in other parts of it. Okay. So now my baby is secure in the wrap because we tightened it well. She's got one leg on either side of the cross. Because both of these come up between the legs, she cannot pop her seat by straightening her legs. The worst she can do is something like that, but it won't come out from under her, and it won't drop her or be dangerous from her falling out the bottom. Now, this is still a little uncomfortable on my neck. It needs to be pulled farther out on my shoulder. So I'm going to take the whole knot in both hands, slide it down an inch, and pull that and position it where I want it on my shoulder. And I do want the edge just capped a little bit over my shoulder to help keep it in place. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that strand by strand tightening again. So starting with purple, watch my shoulder as I go through the wrap real quick. And I like to go through it twice. So once I get over to this end, I can see there's still some pieces that are looser than others. Going through it twice generally handles that for me. So I'm going back through the oranges, the yellows, the greens, the blues, and all the way to my purple rail. So that's evenly tightened and bunched. It's going to be most comfortable. So I'm comfortable, she's comfortable and safe. And that was Coolest Hip Cross Carry with a base -2 wrap. So I hope that's helpful. Let me know.